Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 1036 Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I put onto YouTube. As you can see, this battle was fought on one of our favourite custom maps here. And what we like about this map is you've got the big open plains if you want to fight out in the open, okay, which is always nice to do that. Or if you want to hide troops in the woods and spring those nasty ambushes, or in fact, if you want to bring barbarian troops, you can actually put them in the woods as well. As you can see, so this map's got a lot going for it, and as I say, here by the rock, if you want to fight by the rock, you can find that there's higher ground there by the rock there, so you can always take advantage of that on either side of the rock. So as I say, this is one of our favorite custom maps, and we certainly like to have some great battles on here, and this is a cracking battle for you to watch. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Vidar. Now Vidar's got 13 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 13 infantry and 6 cavalry. Not at quite the bog standard 31k Roman army that you might think, because he's actually got an eagle unit as his infantry general unit. Now this is really old school. You don't see this very often. In the past, a lot of players used to bring an eagle unit as their general unit, but you don't see it now, and I would suggest that maybe Vidar is the only RTW player to make his general an eagle unit. Quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and he's got 7 upgrades, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. So make no mistake, that would be a tried and tested Vidar army there, along with that peasant unit. Okay, our next teammate is Sultan Adnan. Now Sultan has got 14 sacred band, okay, 14 sacred band and 6 cavalry. Okay, now if you notice here, his sacred band have got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now the rules for this game were no archers and no horse missile troops. Well, there you are. You can see that Sultan has bought 6 missile cavalry missile troops there. Okay, I guess he just missed the rules there, but the other team didn't seem to be too bothered about it. But as I say, that they shouldn't be in the game. Our next teammate is someone who's called himself Oppressed, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. Now he's got 10 infantry, 6 cavalry and 3 war dogs. If you notice his infantry here, you might find this quite interesting. You'll see that some of his infantry have got 7 upgrades on, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack, as you might see there. But others of his infantry have just got gold shield, gold attack on. So I'm guessing those guys are probably going to be his pilot shield units, and he'll keep his 7 upgraded infantry at the rear. I'm thinking his cavalry probably 7 upgrades there, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry, and he's bought 3 war dogs as well there. Okay, unusual to see war dogs in a 31k battlefield, but there you are. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander. I've got 14 infantry and 5 cavalry. Okay, so there's our team. Should be a really great battle for you to watch, and hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Barclayman with one of his factions of choice, Thrace. Now he's got 11 pikes, 4 Aurelian mercenaries and 2 Bastarni. Have a look at the upgrades on his pikes. You'll see they are fully upgraded. 9 upgrades, 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his Thracian pikes there. And then if you look closely there, you'll see that he's got his Aurelian mercenaries there. Okay, these of course are missile troops. He's got 5 units of those, so that's a lot of missiles that those troops can throw between them there, so he can do a lot of damage to other units. And he's got 2 Bastarni units there. Notice their curved swords there. He's got 2 of those units there. Okay, they can be quite tough infantry if used correctly. He's got a cavalry general. They're a fast-moving cavalry general, and if I remember correctly, yep, he's got another fast-moving cavalry unit as well. So remember that Thrace is one of Barclayman's factions of choice. Pontus is another one of his. Right, and their next teammate is someone who's called Wolves HRX. You can see the rest of his name, but we always used to call him Wolves HRX. Now just to say, give you a bit of background here, Wolves were quite a very big clan back in the day. I think they started at 30k and then moved on to 31k, and really good players. It was a clan full of really great players and friendly players as well. But you can imagine that the Brotherhood being 31k and Wolves being 31k, we had some absolutely epic battles between us. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, those were the days before I was doing the battle videos, so unfortunately I haven't got any of those. But believe me, we had some fantastic, really close battles with the Wolves clan, but it was always a friendly affair. I must say that Wolves and Brotherhood clan and the Brotherhood clan were always very good, friendly, but very competitive as well there. So it's nice to see Wolves HRX there. He's got the bog standard 31k Roman army, 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. He rarely plays these days, and I believe he's the only Wolves player to actually play on Rome Total War these days. Okay, their next teammate is someone who's called himself, I think is that Chokba, but is in fact Brotherhood member Royer. Now he's got 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 14 infantry and 6 cavalry, but not quite the bog standard 31k Roman army, as he has bought extra morale boosting Eagle unit to his army there. Okay, so that's Royer's army there. Quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and he just got gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. And their last teammate is Brotherhood member Mantu, and he has got the bog standard 31k Roman army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry, and of course all his army is hiding in the woods there apart from his general. This has got the potential to be a great battle. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, we've literally just pressed start. You'll see that Scorpion King is laying his aggressive credentials on the table right at the beginning of the battle here. You can see him moving his army forward. Whether that's a good tactical move or not, I'm not sure. Just look at the enemy troops that could assail his position there. Pause the game for a second. So he's moved forward, but you've got a Scipii enemy troops could hit him, or you could have the Julii troops, or both could maybe attack him. So it wouldn't surprise me if Scorpion King decided to move his army back from that position, because tactically he could be a bit of a problem there. You can see I'm running over from the left flank there. You can see Sultan's moving over as well, and you can see Vidar is a long way away over right on the right flank, and he's got to run over to us. So you can see literally we've just pressed start. And as I say, Scorpion King being very aggressive right from the start, but having potentially two armies, enemy armies, moving in on him. Just watch Scorpion King here. As I say, it wouldn't surprise me if he saw the situation and decided to pull his army back from that rather dangerous position, I would suggest. Here you can see Barclayman moving his Thracian army over. And you can see that Sultan Adnan has just arrived with his Carthaginians there. Okay, there you are, Scorpion King there, as I thought, moving his army back there. As I say, he could see the situation there, and it was a good tactical move on, I think, retreating there. I just want to show you something here. Can you see Royer's battle formation? Can you see how wide that battle formation is? Now, this is very reminiscent of Roman battle formations right back in the early days of Rome Total War. A lot of us had battle formations like kind of, if you like, long battle formations, wide battle formations, rather than the in-depth battle formations that we've evolved to in modern times. So I just thought that was quite interesting for you to see there. As I say, very reminiscent of the early days of Rome Total War, when a lot of us had battle formations wide like that rather than in depth there. As I say, you can see Scorpion King pulling back quite a long way now. Looks like he's integrating his army with Sultan's Carthaginians. The Thracians of Barclayman have just arrived there. And you'll see HRX, Wolves HRX by the side of the rock there, has got onto the slightly higher ground. Okay. But if I remember correctly, Royer was extremely aggressive in this battle with his red Julii army. Now look at him moving forward already there. Okay. As I say, if I remember correctly with this battle, he was extremely aggressive with his wide kind of battle formation there. And you can see him moving forward yet again there towards, I think, it's Scorpion King's army. Okay, but Vidar's army is just arriving on the scene here. Okay, pause again for a second here. So there you are, you got Royer's army there advancing towards Scorpion King's army. Okay, and then you've got Vidar's army coming onto the scene as well. So does Royer want to take on two armies? Would it be a good tactical move for him to pull back maybe? Or is he definitely going to be very aggressive here and maybe even try to fight two armies? It'll be interesting to see what Royer's going to do here. Okay, meanwhile over here on the left flank, now remember what we talked about earlier, this battle was no archers and no horse missile troops, and Sultan bought 6 horse missile troops here. Now if I remember correctly, I don't think any of the enemy team complained about that, but of course he's going to get cause extra casualties to the enemy team as they've got no counter to that, because obviously they would counter those units with archers if it was allowed. Right here you'll see some pilot exchanging going on there between Royer's army and I think Scorpion King's army there. Okay, you can see HRX has moved his blue Scipio army over to by the side of Royer's army there. So as I say, I think the battle here could start on that right flank of ours there. Look how Royer is moving his red Julia army forward. As I say, these missile troops of Sultan here, he's throwing spears into the Thracian army there. And of course those 121 man units are very susceptible to any kind of missile damage. So make no mistake, those Thracian troops will be suffering there. And you can see here HRX chasing them, trying to chase them away there with his heavy cavalry. But with all his years of experience, he knows he's got no chance of catching them because they're light cavalry. Meanwhile, over here on our right flank, you will see that Vidar here is now facing Royer's red Julia army. And you can see here that Mantu's army has just arrived on the scene. Remember, we saw his army right down on that other flank there in the woods. And it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do there. Let's say HRX there just chase those missile troops away, but they'll be throwing missiles into his cavalry as well. And as I say, it's a little bit unfair because there was no archers, no horse missile troops, so the enemy's got no way to counter those missile troops. Obviously, if they had archers, they would be able to do that. But here, as I say, you can see Royer being very aggressive here. Could throw a cavalry unit in there. I think that's a dog unit that's just been charged in there, if I remember. There you are. Can you see? I think that's one of Scorpion King's dog units there has just been charged in, and he's going to counter that with the cavalry there. And then you bang as he charges in there. I don't think those dogs lasted very long, if I remember correctly. Still lots of pilot exchanging going on there between the two opposing armies there. But that was a nice cavalry hit there. And look at Royer being very aggressive. Look at him throwing his infantry in, straight in to attack Vidar's infantry here. I think, yeah, as I say, very, very aggressive in this battle. That's why this battle sticks in my mind a little bit here, is because of the aggression. There it is. You got some. I think there's some Scorpion King's infantry there. I think that is Scorpion King's infantry because Vidar's infantry is up a little bit higher. There you go. So there you are. Royer's charging his infantry into Scorpion King's infantry there. Okay, he's got all those units there to throw in, but very, very aggressive here right from the beginning of the battle. As you can see, just look at that, really aggressive there. Going to charge his cavalry in. He's going to bring his cavalry in as well there. Okay, pause the game for a second here. So he's already got half his army, half his infantry engaged. Meanwhile, on the other flank, on our left flank here, you'll see that Barclayman and Wolves HRX is trying to chase off those annoying missile cavalry of Sultans there. But here you can see my infantry here. I've moved forward with Sultan Adnan, and we're facing Wolves HRX as Scipio troops there, and the Thracian troops of Barclayman's. But as I say, on our right flank here, Scorpion King and Vidar are facing a very, very aggressive attack there by Royer. Now, whether Mantu's going to throw in his SPQR troops as well, I'm not sure. But there you are. Can you see my cavalry coming down there? as it smashes in there. And then you can see other cavalry units going in there, looking bang as they smash in there as well. Oh my gosh, Royer's taking a heck of a pounding here from cavalry. Oh my gosh. And you can see that bang as that charged in there. Sorry, that's Vidar's cavalry and Scorpion King's cavalry there. My cavalry is locked and loaded, still up in the woods at the moment, hiding. But they were, I mean, now you can see that basically all of Royer's troops are now engaged there. Okay, you can see Mantu bringing some units over here to maybe help reinforce Royer, because now, if you notice, Royer is up against Scorpion King and Vidar. Okay, so make no mistake about this. You can see Vidar's cavalry charging back in. Scorpion King's cavalry is already fighting there, but you can see a heck of a lot of green infantry and cavalry there smashing into Royer's red Julia units there. There you are. You can see Mantu's bought his infantry. Now, whether he's going to commit his infantry and cavalry to help Royer, I'm not sure. We just have to wait and see. And I say, meanwhile, on our left flank here, as I say, HRX there was trying to chase away those missile troops, but his cavalry, if he wasn't doing that, could well have helped here with his team. So I don't know what you think. Please put your thoughts in the comments there. But you can see of Sultan and my army here facing HRX and the Thracians. But our right flank here is where the action, as you can see, is kicked off. Now, as I say, Royer there facing two armies. Is Mantu going to commit his troops to support him? Right, now my cavalry is coming down. There's my cavalry now. I've had them hiding in the woods. I'm going to look to smash into the Julia infantry of Royer. So that means now, once my cavalry hits, he's going to be hit by 3 lots of our cavalry. There's my cavalry going in through my allies' infantry, and bang as they smash in there. And you can see here my allies' cavalry charging in as well. Look, bang as they smash in there as well. Oh my gosh, and Royer's still holding. Now, is Mantu going to commit troops to support Royer, or is he not? It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's just pause the game for a second here. So you've got Scorpion King's cavalry, Vidar's cavalry, and my cavalry, plus lots of infantry attacking poor old Royer's red Julia army there. Okay, make no mistake about that. Royer is under a heck of a lot of pressure. Okay, we can see that there. You can see Mantu's army is in behind Royer's. As I say, I don't know whether Mantu's going to commit any troops to support Royer, or whether he's just going to keep them back. But it'd be a good idea, I think, for Royer to think about pulling his troops back now at this stage. I don't know what you're thinking. Another cavalry attack going in there, like a bang! I think that was Vidar's cavalry just charging there, or Scorpion King's. I'm pulling my cavalry back to lock and load them. You can see Mantu's moving his infantry closer to Royer's infantry, but he hasn't actually committed any of his infantry or cavalry at the moment to the battle. Now watch Royer here. Tactically, I would suggest he needs to withdraw. I don't know what you guys are thinking. There you are. You are. Tactically and strategically, the best thing for him to do is to withdraw the remnants of his army. And literally, that is the remnants of his army. I think all his cavalry has been lost. And he's just got a few battered infantry units left. But it's a good job that he's pulled them back, because at least he can rest them and maybe use them in some useful way a little bit later on there. But as I say, very, very aggressive there. Now you can see HRX and Mantu's Roman armies there have kind of merged, if you notice there. Okay, so at this stage of the battle, I just want to show you here, could you see that this is Royer's, what's left of Royer's army? Okay, 2 men left. Was that 2 men left in that unit? So just 2 men left in that unit there. You can see very battle depleted units here. So their morale will be very low because they've lost so many troops. So they are, and 1 more unit up there. And that is the entirety of Royer's army. All his cavalry are gone. Just some very battered infantry units left. But as I say, here you can see that Mantu and Wolves HRX there have merged their armies. Now whether they'll stay merged or not, I'm not sure. But you can see they've merged their armies there, and you can see that Barclayman's Thrace army is over on their flank there, holding the flank. But it'd be interesting to see what Royer's going to do with what's left of his infantry there. And all the time those cavalry missile troops of Sultan have been throwing missiles into the Thracian pikes. And remember, if he causes a lot of casualties to those pike units there, their morale will be even lower, and we know that Thrace morale is not very good anyway. So there you can see Barclayman there trying to chase him away with his fast moving general unit. Right, now you'll see that our Carthage ally there, Sultan, started to move towards the Thracians, but then could you see that Mantu is now moving his infantry up here. Now remember that Mantu, as far as I'm aware, has still got a lot of pilots left, and that is why Sultan moved his Carthage army back there, because he didn't want obviously a mouthful of pilots from Mantu's army. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here, take stock. So as I say, Mantu now has moved away from HRX. You can see Mantu's moved his army up there, but now poor old Wolves HRX has got two armies facing him. He's got Vidars and Scorpion Kings, and if you notice my army now, I've moved over there to kind of integrate some of my units with some of my allies units there as well. So Wolves HRX is a little bit exposed. There's Royer's Red Julia army, what's left of them there. I would suggest that he needs to keep them back in reserve and put them in where it's needed. He certainly doesn't want to be aggressive anymore with those troops that he's got left, because I don't think they'd last very long. Right, can you see I've moved my army up further there? Lots of pilot exchanging still going on here. You see HRX has still got a lot of pilots left there, throwing them into our Brutii allies there. And there you can see HRX charging his cavalry in, and bang, as he smashes in there, routed that Brutii unit on impact. Did you notice that? He's now taking his cavalry on in, or is he going to pull that cavalry back? Best to pull his cavalry back. Lots of enemy infantry there. Here you'll see that Royer's charged his Red Julia units in once again. Very battle damage there, and if he's not careful they'll all be routed. And here you can see Mantu going to charge his cavalry in. HRX may charge his Scipii cavalry in as well. Oh my gosh, a good counter-attack here by the enemy cavalry, and bang! As the first lot of cavalry goes in, get ready for the second lot, and bang! As they smash in there. Oh my gosh, what a really good counter-attack there by the combined cavalry of HRX and Mantu. Right, can you see? I'm going to charge my cavalry in now. My cavalry's going to charge into their cavalry. There's my cavalry going in, get ready for this, and bang! As they smash in there as well. Oh my gosh, we got infantry going in there as well as my cavalry. Oh my gosh, Royer's army could be completely routed at this stage of the battle. Okay, oh my gosh, I think it has as well. And you can see a lot of the enemy cavalry has been routed at this stage of the battle there. Now, HRX's blue Scipii troops are under a big attack there, I think, by Vidar's infantry. Okay, and you can see Scorpion King. I think his Scorpion King's cavalry is chasing down the routers there. He may want to move his cavalry back there because Mantu's just attacked. Right, so just to let you know, at this stage of the battle, all of Royer's Julia army has now been routed. Okay, so Royer has got no more units left at all. His entire army has now gone. So you can see Mantu charging his cavalry there into our allies' Brutii cavalry and routing those Brutii cavalry as well. He may well go, and Vidar's got two cavalry units here, but he's bringing infantry in as well. Nice move. There's infantry coming in as well. There you are, infantry and cavalry to attack Mantu's SPQR cavalry. So the best thing for the enemy to do is to pull their cavalry away. They certainly don't want to fight enemy infantry there. Okay, and you can see that Mantu's pulling his cavalry away, and HRX would probably pull his cavalry as well. So you got elements of Scorpion King's infantry and Vidar's infantry there and moving in, and I think that's Vidar's cavalry, what's left of his cavalry as well, moving round. Okay, but at the moment here you'll see that HRX here is under a lot of pressure. I'm just charging my cavalry into his units there. You've got all of Vidar's infantry attacking him as well, or most of Vidar's infantry attacking as well. Okay, now whether they're going to send out, you see that line of Thrace pikes there could be brought in maybe to stabilise and brace HRX's line there. I don't know what you're thinking about that. A line of Thracian pikes there could really brace HRX's line there and certainly stop the penetration of my cavalry. Like I'm bang, as I force my cavalry right through to try and get to his general. That was where my cavalry was trying to aim for there. But best thing now is for me to pull my cavalry back out. Don't want to fight infantry for too long there. And you can see Mantu's SPQR cavalry in behind his HRX is infantry there. But like I say, a line of Thracian pikes could be brought down there to help brace HRX's blue Scipio troops. Just a thought on that. Please put your thoughts in the comments. Here's some infantry of Vidars looking to get in behind. Is he going to get hit by that cavalry? I would suggest his infantry is going to get hit by that cavalry because I think Mantu's got the downslope advantage. There you are. Mantu's got the downslope advantage there, and it wouldn't surprise me if he hit that infantry while it was on the move with his cavalry. But you can see that Vidar's already got units in behind HRX is blue Scipio troops there. Now whether the enemy's going to send any reinforcements to help HRX, I'm not sure. As I say, a line of pikes there would really help him, I think, and it certainly would stop my cavalry battering his infantry as well. And there you are. Can you see that SPQR cavalry charging in to that cavalry, that infantry there? Bang, as it smashes in there. You can see that Mantu's bringing some infantry units over there as well. Okay, so you can see that happening as well. You can see I'm moving my infantry down. Right, here's my cavalry going in again. Right, I'm going to try and batter the Scipio infantry. There goes my cavalry, and bang, as they smash in there, trying to take out. Once again, look, can you see I'm trying to push my cavalry through to try and take out the Scipio general there. You see how my cavalry has penetrated there. And as I say, poor old HRX here, Wolves HRX's troops are getting really aggressively attacked here. And as I say, I just wonder whether his allies are going to bring some support in there to help brace his battle line there. But you can see I've got my infantry involved in there as well, Vidars and Scorpion Kings as well. And there's Vidar's infantry units there that were attacked by those SPQR cavalry. If I was him, I'd pull them out of there because I think otherwise they could well be routed there. But maybe it's too late to pull them out now. And as I say, another hit from cavalry there. You can see Mantu throwing his infantry in. Another hit by cavalry there, and I think they could well be routed. Scorpion King's got some very battle damaged infantry left there. You can see my cavalry, I'm charging forward again, trying to take out the Scipio general. Can you see I'm forcing my cavalry onto the Scipio troops? Right, we've routed, now killed the Scipio general, so they've lost the general morale bonus there. You'll see I'm forcing my cavalry onto those other two Scipio units, but I think it's time for me to pull my cavalry out of there at this stage. Right, okay, so here you can see that Scorpion King's infantry there and some of Vidar's infantry are still skirmishing with the enemy. If you like, you can see up here on our left flank that Mantu has now established his infantry battle formation there, and if you notice, he's got the downslope advantage. It's not a massive advantage, as you can see, but it is a downslope advantage there. So with his cavalry and infantry, he could slam into the flank of my infantry. So I need to reposition my infantry to face the threat of what's coming in on my left flank. Okay, you can see that Sultan has already turned his Carthaginians there to face the threat coming in from the higher ground. Okay, so that's what I need to do. At the moment, you'll see that Mantu is throwing loads of armor-piercing pilers into my infantry as I try and turn to face the threat there. Okay, now if he'd attacked earlier, he could have charged into the flank of my infantry. So I'm glad that he didn't there, and I've turned my infantry now to face the threat. Okay, so there you are. You can see there a lot of action going on all over the battlefield here. And as I say, Mantu's positioned his infantry and cavalry in a really good tactical ground advantage there with that downslope advantage that he has. Okay, so there you can see I've actually turned my battle formation now, my infantry, to face a threat. But you can see the downslope advantage that he's got now. Is he going to do an all-out attack into my infantry backed up by his cavalry? Okay, he could charge all his infantry into my infantry and then ram home that attack with the downslope advantage that his cavalry would have. And could that cause a mass rout Well, we just have to see. I can see Scorpion King's infantry still fighting it. Look at the pilots coming into my troops there with that downslope advantage. Remember, on higher ground, when troops throw pilots, those pilots go further and do more damage. So make no mistake there, he would have damaged my forward units quite a lot there with that pilot strike. Scorpion King's infantry still engaged there, but you can see Mantu's cavalry is locked and loaded. If you've noticed, he put them into wedge formation now for more impact and more penetration. And so I can see a massive attack coming in on my infantry. Right over here, on our right here, you'll see that cavalry there, that missile cavalry that Sultan brought to the battle there has helped take out a lot of Thracian units there. Now remember, those Thracian units are 121 man units, most of all those pikes are, so I'm guessing that Sultan's going to get a lot of good kills, some quite big kills by the end of the battle there. Okay, he's now moving some more of his spear units over there, possibly to support my infantry. Okay, but as I say, you can see Mantu, I can see that he's locked and loaded there, and I reckon he's got his finger on the trigger to attack my infantry. Just watch his infantry there, and as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden there was a massive charge down the slope into my infantry, backed up by his cavalry. Just watch out for that. I think he's, as I say, he's got his finger on the trigger there. More of Scorpion King's infantry being routed there. Oh my gosh. Right, now watch the SPQR infantry of Mantu. Okay, he's charging forward into the forward units of my battle formation. He lets his infantry integrate into my infantry. Now get ready for his cavalry. Is he going to charge that cavalry in? He's just waiting for the right time. Look, can you see all his infantry are really pushing in to the forward units of my battle formation? You can see there, he's really trying to penetrate. Right, here comes the cavalry. Is he going to cause a mass rout of my infantry? Get ready for this massive cavalry hit. Down slope, don't forget. And bang! As he charges in. Can you see I'm trying to counter-attack with what I've got left of my cavalry there? And bang! As my cavalry charges in there. Oh my gosh. Just look at the penetration of the cavalry, of Mantu's cavalry, into my battle formation. They've nearly broken through that. They've nearly gone all the way through my battle formation there. That's the downslope advantage there of his charge bonus there for his cavalry there. Oh my gosh, see how that downslope advantage has really enhanced his charge bonus there. You can see Wolves here looking to get a couple of his units round the flank. HRX here trying to get units round the flank there. And oh my gosh. And you can see this is a nice bit of support here by Sultan, bringing over some of his spear units there to help brace my battle line there. That certainly should put off Mantu from charging his cavalry in, because those nasty Sacred Band spearmen there with their big anti-cavalry bonus there should stop him from at least charging his cavalry. But look at his infantry charging in again. Look. What he's trying to do is to try and get a mass rout of my infantry. That's what he was hoping for there. That's what that massive attack was for, to get a mass rout going. But you can see, as I say, Sultan there got some of his Sacred Band spearmen in there to brace my battle line. Nice bit of support there by Sultan there, and that will certainly stop any more cavalry attacks coming in. Okay, and over here you can see Sultan's got a lot of his Carthaginians still left there. As I say, he's routed a heck of a lot of the Thracian 121 man units there. So but you can see the enemy creeping around the flank of our two armies there, of Sultan's and myself. There you can see SPQR units of Mantu and HRX, the Scipio infantry, getting in around the flank of our troops there. And I just wanted to show you something, a really good tactical move here. Can you see this Eagle unit of Mantu's, right? You can see quite clearly he's not throwing them into the battle. Can you think why he's not throwing that unit into the battle? Okay, so what he's doing, he's just keeping that unit behind his fighting troops, because that is a morale boosting unit, and that's why he's keeping his unit so close to the fighting units there. And then his general there, look, okay, his general can run around with the cavalry, giving general morale bonus to his cavalry, while his Eagle unit can give Eagle morale bonus to his infantry. So nice move there by Mantu. and it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do with his cavalry. Is he going to chance downslope a charge into my infantry again? I would think not, because those Carthage Sacred Band Spearmen are there. Right, can you see I'm charging a couple of units of my cavalry into the flank and rear of the enemy troops that have come around the flank of my infantry, and bang, and then Mantu counter-attacks, look, and bang, as he smashes into my cavalry there. Oh my gosh. Right, you can see Sultan bringing more of his spearmen over here as well. And we make no mistake, this is a grinding battle now. That downslope advantage that Mantu's got is really grinding my infantry there. But I just wanted to show you something here, and I know I've been banging on about this for years, but can you see I've got one Eagle unit there giving extra morale bonus to our infantry. Okay, and I've got another Eagle unit there, so I've got 2 Eagle units, okay, plus my infantry general. So there's 3 lots of morale there, not just for my troops, but for the Carthaginian troops as well, of my allies. Okay, so there's 3 lots of morale boosting units, plus you've got Sultan's general right behind as well. So actually there's 4 lots of morale bonus there for our troops to keep them fighting. Okay, and never underestimate the effect of good morale boosting troops for the for the battle itself, because as I say, 4 morale boosting troops there, boosting the morale of both Carthage and my Brutii troops there. Now here you'll see that Mantu is charging his cavalry into a stray unit there, I think was Scorpion King's unit, one of Scorpion King's units there. But here in the main battle line there, as I say, you can see that Sultan has braced my battle line there with his Sacred Band Spearmen. Remember, his Sacred Band Spearmen got 8 upgrades on, so they're not going to rout very easily. And as I say, we got all that morale going on there as well. Okay, but you can see Mantu being very, very aggressive there. He's locked and loaded his cavalry. Now, is he going to charge in on the flank? It'll be interesting. Watch his cavalry go into wedge formation. If you see his cavalry go into wedge formation, you will know he's got his finger on the trigger. Okay, so here, as I say, his infantry still pushing into us there. Loads, you can see that. Watch his cavalry. There's his cavalry. Look, his cavalry's gone into wedge formation on the left there. See? So I know that he's got his finger on the trigger and he's ready to charge there. He's going to pull that trigger and that cavalry is going to smash into the flank of my troops. Whether he's going to cause a mass rout, which is what he's after here. Right, there goes his cavalry coming in there. Look, bang! As he smashes in there. Oh my gosh. There, but as I say, Sultan's got his anti-cavalry well upgraded Sacred Band Spearmen there, which would have neutralised a lot of that attack there. Okay, and it looks, from what I can see here, it looks like our team has managed to go on and win the battle here. By the looks of it, I think, from what I can see, a Mantu just got his cavalry general unit left, and that Eagle unit left, and there's 1 Thracian unit. You'll see now I'm turning defence into attack. Can you see my infantry's been on the defence all the time? I'm now attacking there, and as I say, it looks like our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. Okay. In some places you can see that the battle was quite spread out there. You can see, can you see Vidar's got 1 unit left, I think, possibly. And you can see that Scorpion King has got 2 very, very battle damage. Is that 1 man left in that unit? This is Scorpion King's entire army. 5 men in that unit and 1 man left in that unit. Oh my gosh, that's all he's got. I think that's all the units he's got. He might have some dog units left somewhere, but that's all he's got. And I think Vidar's just got one unit left. I think that's all they got left there. And there was a couple of men left from his war dog units, a Scorpion King, but infantry wise he just got those 2 infantry units left, numbering 6 infantry. That's all he's got with those 2 units combined, and they could well get routed here before the actual real end of the battle here, with those Thracian units pushing in on them. But you can see that Sultan's brought one of his Sacred Band units over to try and help there. But as I say, so Scorpion King, as I say, at this stage has just got, he's lost I think he's just lost another infantry. He's got about 5 infantry left out of the whole of his infantry. That's all that he's got left. And as I say, Vidar's just got his general unit left there. Oh my gosh. Right, pause the battle, the battle just for a second there. Okay, so you notice over here there was some skirmishing of troops there, but of course the main battle was over here. There you can see that's where a lot of the Aurelian missile troops were taken out. And as we move across the battlefield here, you can see more dead there. And over here you can see a lot of dead there, just moving across the battlefield. Just look at that those massive piles of dead. It just bears testament to how tough this battle was. Now, looking at the troops that are left, I would say this is going to be a close battle. What do all of you think here? I just like to give you that just to see what you think. Looking at the troops that we've got left, extremely battle damaged. I mean, oh my gosh, right, okay. So the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. I thought everybody played well, and I was really surprised it is an average victory. I thought it would have been a close victory looking at the troops that we had left. So it must have just edged into average. Highest kills in the game goes to Sultan Adnan with his Carthage army, over 2,000 kills. So well done to him. Did well there. Well done to Mantu. Got some great kills. Look at the kills that he got there. Very good. Well done to Royer. Very, very aggressive. He'll be disappointed with the kills that he got there. Well done to Wolves, HRX. As I say, he doesn't play that often. Very rare we see him. But he might be disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills, but he shouldn't be, as he doesn't play that often. And well done to Barclayman. He'll be a bit disappointed that he got less than 1,000 kills, but really well played, guys. My kills, yeah, quite pleased with that. I think I was defensive a lot of the time there, so that's I'm quite pleased with that. Well done to Scorpion King, got some good kills too. And well done to Vidar, got some good kills as well. And as I say, well done to Sultan, highest kills. What about faction advantage? We had Rome, and Carthage. And they had Rome, and Thrace. I think, to be honest, we had faction advantage there with Carthage, you know, maybe better in Thrace. So I hope you enjoyed this battle. Please leave a comment. It's always nice to read what you think. Bye for now.